Dennis, do you know what gift both NC State and Wake Forest were given this week?
Gift they were given this week?
They were given a gift. In this program, we like to get into the Christmas spirit early.
Yes.
And there was a gift given this week by the College Football Playoff Committee, which is just so happens to be led by NC State Athletic Director Boo Corrigan. That gift, now, well, there was some earning there, right? Just like Christmas gifts, Santa knows when you've been naughty or nice. The College Football Playoff Selection Committee knows when you've been good or bad. Wake Forest. Yes, last week was bad, but the Deeks are number 21 in the College Football Playoff rankings. NC State, lost that game to Clemson, lost the game to Syracuse, but 6-2 after their comeback win against Virginia Tech last Thursday. They're number 22 in the CFP. But Joe, how is that a gift? For this reason. Clemson is number 4 in the College Football Playoff rankings. As such, if the Tigers, who are 8-0, if they are able to win out their final 4 regular season games, 3 of those are at home, by the way. They go to Notre Dame this week, and then they finish the season with 3 straight home games at Death Valley. They've won, I believe, 37 games in a row at home. That's setting up very nicely for the Clemson Tigers to make the college football playoff. They still have work to do. They still need to get there. If Clemson does that, and then they beat North Carolina in the ACC championship game in Charlotte on the first Saturday in December, they'll be in the college football playoff. If you followed the ACC bowl process for as many years as I have, you know what that means. That means the next highest rated team in the CFP rankings automatically goes to the Orange Bowl.
Yeah. Much like UNC a couple years ago, right?
Just like UNC a few years ago in the pandemic. What an incentive. What a gift. Here you are, you're Wake Forest. You just lose this awful game at Louisville, and you're thinking to yourself, what do we have left to play for this season? It's not the division title, which you won last year. It's not, so you can't win anything in the conference. Can't win the division, you can't win the conference. Can't win the national title, obviously, either. If you're NC State, you're 6-2. You went into this year thinking, man, we've never done this before. We've never played in a major bowl game before on New Year's Day, or what is considered now the New Year's 6 games. Now, all of a sudden, at 22, with the games that NC State has left on its schedule, let's think about the games that they have left. Because as much confidence as I have in Clemson being able to run the table, well, NC State's going to have to put their work boots on. But that's not the point, Dennis. The point is they have the opportunity. They have the motivation. They now have an incentive. NC State closes the year with Wake Saturday night. They get BC here the following week. Then they have to close the season with 2 road games, neither of which will be easy.
No.
We just saw what Louisville was all about last week when they pounded Wake Forest. And then NC State will close the season against North Carolina on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving in Chapel Hill. But the opportunity is what is there for NC State. Same with Wake Forest. It's pretty interesting, actually, the Deeks, who they have over their final 4 games. I just gave you NC State's slate. It's, by ACC standards, that's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Considering Clemson's not on there. Wake's final 4 games. You tell me who has it tougher, Dennis.
Okay.
Go to State.
All right.
Then they play Carolina, Syracuse, and close with Duke. Their next 3 games are against teams that are ranked in the CFP poll. It's not easy.
And Duke has proven this year to not be a pushover either.
And let me tell you, Duke was feisty against Carolina, probably should have beaten Carolina.
Yeah.
Duke is motivated not only to make a bowl game after going 1-17 the last 2 years in league play, but they want to ruin somebody's season too. When you can't have something, the next best thing that you can do is prevent the other guy from having something nice. And I kind of sort of thought that would be the only thing NC State would have to play for in these final 4 games after the stumble against Syracuse. Not the case. So a nice gift. Yes, you can earn gifts. And I think both Wake Forest and NC State should go into Saturday night's matchup with the mindset of, all right, we have to put behind us the disappointment of having 2 losses. We have to put behind us the disappointment of not being able to be in Charlotte and win the Atlantic Division and potentially win the conference championship. But that's a nice plum, a nice piece of fruit, if you will, for both teams to have after the disappointment of their recent losses. How do these 2 teams match up, though, on Saturday night? NC State, listen, offensively, it's been a challenge. There's just no 2 ways around it. You go back to the opener at ECU. They didn't score in the second half of that game.
No.
Okay? That was with Devin Leary. Texas Tech, better, right? UConn and Charleston Southern, maybe those end up being their Super Bowl. As I like to say, everybody plays the Super Bowl. Clemson, late garbage touchdown. Syracuse, no offense.
0 offense.
Virginia Tech, here's where the hope comes from. And you got to traffic in hope. If you don't have the motivation of a championship, you have to traffic in hope. NC State has been masters at trafficking in hope. Next year, Dennis, no basketball, no baseball, no women's basketball, no swimming. Next year is our year. Definitely our year. Just wait till next year. If you're NC State, you don't have to wait till next year now. You never played in the Orange Bowl. I mean, what else do you need in front of you now? Not to mention Wake Forest, a team who has been the fly in your ointment. 2017, Dave Doran's team wins 9 games. They lose down in Winston-Salem in a game where Emeka Emezi reaches for the goal line. Aseng Bassi makes just an unbelievable hustle play to knock the ball out of his hands. Wake wins by 6 points. 2018, a completely decimated Wake Forest lineup with a young Sam Hartman injured. A 3-touchdown dog. NC State, number 14 in the college football playoff rankings, feeling good, doing the bull dance, feeling the flow. They wear all black. They lose to Wake Forest in the Jamie Newman game. Last year, Atlantic Division on the line. ACC title that has eluded you since 1979 on the line. Lose by 3 points to the Deacs. Actually, the last 2 years have been the same score. 45-42. NC State won in the pandemic here in Raleigh, 45-42. Last year in Winston-Salem, the Deacs win 45-42.
So you're telling me overtime on Saturday?
I'm telling you right now, there is one thing I can promise you. It will not be 45-42 on Saturday. NC State's best chance of winning this game is to keep it in the 20s. Louisville just showed you now you can't count on 8 turnovers. My goodness gracious. We talked to Wake Forest coach Dave Clawson yesterday. He mentioned we had more we had more turnovers in the third quarter than we did in the first 7 games. That's ridiculous.
It's an outlier.
You can't count on that ever happening again. But you can look at what Louisville did and how they pressured Sam Hartman, and potentially for your defense, which is very good, by the way, can come up with stops and give yourselves a chance. If I told you Dave Doran and Dave Clawson in the 8 years in the ACC together have a 4-4 record against each other, would you believe me?
Yeah, actually I would.
You would?
I would.
There aren't many state people who would. Sometimes you got to believe in the unbelievable. And now NC State and Wake Forest, they both have a chance that they just didn't have on Monday night.